The US has three major power grids. There's the Eastern Interconnection, which covers the East Coast and most of the Midwest. There's the Western Interconnection, which covers the West Coast and parts of the Rockies. And there's Texas. Texas has its own power grid run by ERCOT, or the Electric Reliability Council of Texas. Why? Because Texas politicians didn't want to be under federal regulations. So we built our own grid, cutting ourselves off from the rest of the country. The idea was that this would keep electricity cheap and independent. But in reality, it's made us vulnerable. And when I say we, I'm talking about the residents. Because when Texas has a crisis of extreme heat or an ice storm or apparently a lot of wind, we can't import power from other states the way other states can. We're on our own, and the system wasn't built for reliability. And I feel like that's Texas' biggest scam ever sold to its residents: deregulation. In 2002, Texas deregulated electricity, which was supposed to bring competition and lower prices. But instead, we got a complicated, unstable mess where power generation, transmission, and retail sales are all separate, and no one is truly responsible for making sure the system works. And instead of accountability, what did we get? Frequent blackouts, sky high electricity bills, and a system where profits come before people. I feel like I say that a lot. That should be America's motto: profit over people. And so at this point, I was just done. So I emailed Encore's senior vice president and general counsel directly. And I didn't really hold back. I told them, quote, Encore's infrastructure failures resemble those of a failing state, not a regulated U.S. utility provider. Power outages have become as frequent as those in Cuba, where systemic neglect leads to repeated blackouts. And I know that was an exaggeration. I explained how I was sitting in my home debating whether I needed to buy a cooler for my $1,300 worth of groceries or book an Airbnb just to have electricity. And I pointed out that 5,604 customers were impacted, but Encore still pretends this is a one time issue. I cited actual Texas laws that Oncor is violating, like the Texas Utilities Code Chapter 38, which requires system reliability, the PUCT rule, which requires companies to restore power promptly, the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act for misleading customers, the